Hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Talk Books. Today is a video that is a part of the BookTube Tours. If you want to learn more about what the BookTube Tours is, then I will link all the information down below. So I was sent this book in exchange for an honest review by Harlan Quinn, and that book is Sleepless in Manhattan by Sarah Morgan. So thank you so much for sending this book along my way and to share with all of you fabulous people. So Sleepless in Manhattan is about a woman named Paige Walker, and she is a New York event planner. She absolutely loves her job, but unfortunately she gets laid off. And it's such like a big shocker to her. So she has to kind of face these new challenges that come along with having to lose a job. Having to live in a city like New York is expensive and it's a lot of hard work. So what she decides to do is launch her own event company. She has the help of her other friends and also one of her biggest crushes, Jake Romano, who happens to also be her brother's best friend, and he is a millionaire and New York bachelor, and he's just, God's sent from above. But he is also a complicated guy who doesn't really trust love and relationships. So she just hopes that he can give her that chance. So with this book, I was kind of flip-flopping on how I felt about this book. Probably I want to say up to like here, but like around like this much way through, I wasn't feeling the book that well. I didn't really care for the characters that much. I wasn't enjoying the writing as much. I felt like there were so many scenes in the book that took up like 20 pages. Like I felt like I kept turning the page on like the same subject and it just started to become boring. I'm not like the biggest fan of books set in New York, and you're probably wondering why I would pick this book up then. Now what I mean by books set in New York is mainly books where a character is not from New York. I'm from New York, so a lot of times I feel like I'm reading this book from like a touristy point of view. From a person who isn't born and raised here, I feel like I can't connect with them. Even though there is tons of talk about, the Brooklyn Bridge and Central Park and all the stereotypical NYC places. It's just, again, just very like touristy. And it doesn't give like the heart and soul of what New York is, but that's just because I'm from here, so it's just that type of disconnect. Someone who probably is not from here would be like, oh my god, I want to come here. Like that's just the way it is with books. I didn't love conversations between the friends. Love books with friendships. I didn't feel it. This is an adult book. I felt so much more friendship and love in like YA books more than I did with this. They actually felt very young, which was weird because they're not young. And like their conversations were kind of like high school-y. There was like one scene that I was kind of like annoyed about, like where they were like making fun of the girl's size because she was like so thin. And felt so childish and catty. I know us girls can be that way, but I feel like coming from an adult book, I don't want to see that. So the beginning was just very slow paced. It was all about her getting into her event planning and her new business, and it just became something that I just didn't find that interesting until like the love part really set in. So I'm like a sucker for new adult romance, and once that kind of came in, I was like, okay, now things are getting interesting, because when like in a book where like you could tell there's like so much chemistry and you're just waiting for something to happen. Like it took too long, but when it actually did happen, like that's when I actually felt that there was something there between Paige and Jake. That's when I just started to really get interested in the book. Also into the characters as well. I felt like more than halfway through, like Paige became such a different person, but in a good way. I felt her confidence and her womanhood just grow. She kind of set her heart out on what she wanted, whether it was to own her own business or pursue love. You really saw that in her. And I think that the romance part and the sex part of this book was very tasteful. This wasn't too much, I think. It was enough. It wasn't too detailed. It's another one of those good Star Order books if you are interested in a adult book. Again, this author likes to drag out her scenes a lot, I found. Like there was some like scenes like that would lead up to a sex scene, but it would be like 10 pages long. I'm just like, get to it already. Let's go. You know, I'm just a very impatient person. Ultimately, I think the romance was my favorite part of this book. I just hate that I had to wait so long to really get to the core of it. But once I did, I got a feel of what these characters were about, especially Jake too. I get why he does not trust and why he don't believe in love. And it's a really realistic thing. Yes, the pair of them are just, they were so cute. And I know this is going to be a trilogy, but I'm not too sure on what the other books are going to be about. Because there are a lot of characters in this book. I would like to see where the other characters go, but I mean, if you read this book, you know, there's still kind of more to these characters. I do plan on continuing with this series. So for me, I am going to be giving this book 3 stars. I think that it was still a really good book, but because it took me a long time to get into it. Otherwise, it would have been maybe a 4.5. I could have given this really low, but I'm really glad that it did pick up and I started to actually enjoy it. Depending on who you are, you might give this a higher score than I did, but still, I overall enjoyed the book and the chemistry, romance, and good stuff that did come with this book. This book is out now, so if you want to see any of the other reviews and where you could purchase this book, again, all links will be down below. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in our next video. Bye.